think if the phone was listening, it would be giving me ads for muzzles.
What? Or it's just ads that going shh,
It's a,
zit, zit.
all the ads I get are for food. You can train the phones like of your spouses, like maybe like for your daughter around Father's Day, you could be like, look up Father's Day sympathy, guilt my daughter into getting me
No
football things.
kidding.
You could totally like train it to get your daughter to get what you want.
Shh. Obey your father.
Yeah.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to 808 Viral, the podcast. I am James Money, and as always, I'm with
Danny girl. I've been Danny girl since I was
a girl.
a girl. Thank you, James. And it occurred to me the other day, I'm like, am I getting too old for Danny girl? It's always been a nickname. Do I need to change it to like Danny?
Auntie
Or
Danny.
I don't know
Auntie
if I'm ready
Danny.
for that. I don't know if I'm
Gam
ready.
Gam Gam. How about Gam Gam?
Shut the fuck up. I hate you so
Am
much.
I the asshole?
I am going to put super glue in your snore guard so that you never can open your mouth again.
My bad, Gam Gam. So
Oh,
it's gonna be a
I have
fun
a long
episode.
memory. So
Oh.
we're down with this is our second podcast, right? And I just
Hmm.
got done editing. We just loaded our first one. It was just kind of a simple, like, how do you do this? Is what we're gonna do. Um, and yeah, we forgot to talk about what really happened when we first got started.
Omen is bad, yeah.
I mean, there's good omens and bad omens, right?
Oh, Omen. Oh, so Omen is just
I
basically a
guess it was a
sign.
sign. We were testing our mics and testing stuff, and I had a green screen behind me at the time, and I went behind it to turn off a fan and to change some outlets around, and I electrocuted myself right on camera.
Instantly, I was concerned. Instantly.
You were I'm inserting the video right now. Last time that my
Oh, you fell?
I electrocuted myself. You get
Oh
to
my
hear the
goodness.
sound?
No, it clipped the audio.
Oh my god, because it was electrical.
It sounded like you stepped on a cat.
No. You see how calm he was? It said you even said Jeepers. I haven't heard anyone say Jeepers since Scooby Doo.
I'm a fan of
You're
Scooby
like,
Doo.
you're like, what happened? You okay? Did you
Yeah.
fall? Did you step on a cat? Wow.
Because
What?
it wasn't like a movie electrocution because
Because you didn't
I
see me
heard
because I was
something.
behind a
Yeah.
backdrop. What were you expecting? Like National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, where I'm like, they had like
So
electricity all around my body, like a cartoon.
allow me this moment to defend myself. You're on a boat and you're lost at sea, and then it's you and another person. And if both of you are losing your shit, you're not going to get anything accomplished. So one person has to be calm and show strength. So when you got electrocuted, I was showing calmness and strength for you.
I can't believe you said that with a straight face. That was amazing. That was
And the
fascinating to watch.
Academy, an Oscar goes to.
Almost forgot you were an actor until that moment. Do I have so much drama at this point that he's just like being electrocuted was like the least of his worries?
Well, if I can hear your voice, that means you're fine.
You saw my hand was black. It only just now healed. I still have cuts.
I didn't know you were bleeding. That's when you say you were bleeding. I was like, oh, okay, this is serious now.
You're like, oh, damn.
Yeah.
And every time I'd send it to somebody, they'd be like, wow,
I'm waiting for one person to say Jeepers.
nobody said Jeepers. Nobody says Jeepers. Pop, pop.
Oh, large Samoan men that grew up in the 80s, you say Jeepers.
Do they really?
No.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, I don't remember any Samoans I know say that. Like the comedy gods were smiling down upon us that day.
They're saying, let the podcast begin. You're the god of thunder now.
I was telling people this story. They're like, wow, this one time I was electrocuted. And so many people were electrocuted. Brittany Paiva told me she was electrocuted. My friend Karen said she was. I mean, everybody at one point had some electrocution story. And I was like, wow, did you feel amazing after? And we all agreed we felt good like after. Felt like my head was clear. I was all in a good mood.
Again, see what happens.
I'm gonna go and plug the fan in later and jiggle it around again and see if I can get it to like, do it again.
See, I was a kid when it happened, so I wouldn't be able to tell how I felt, but I did have the black thumbnail for a little while. I don't know if it was a fork or a butter knife
In the
into
outlet.
the socket. Yeah, in the wall. Yeah, yeah.
I should have had childproof outlets this entire time.
Well, in the 80s, it was take your chance.
It's amazing we didn't die. Seriously. Don't even know how we're alive. Speaking of social media,
Segue.
crazy social media shit that we have to deal with all the time. And speaking of assholes,
Cats like to show them to you.
yeah, don't they? Having an exposed butthole. Can you imagine walking around with your butthole just out in the open like that? Because anything at any moment, like it's very a vulnerable thing. You could just fly in there.
Well, no, but I mean, open.
Like if you threw a dart and we're walking by at the wrong moment, it'd go right in your butthole. That wouldn't happen to any other animal that wasn't walking around with their buttholes right in the open without some kind of blockage.
If a person is throwing a dart at the asshole, whether the asshole is open or closed, they're gonna get the asshole.
Or like a paper airplane, or just any projectile thing. You could throw a chopstick or drop a fork, and if you're walking around with your butthole, it could just fall in the butthole.
Even though they're like that, they're closed. They're not open when they're
well, but it's still gonna hurt if it hits you in the butthole.
Open. This is open.
No, I mean open. Like we don't walk around with our buttholes exposed. We have butt cheeks. Like if this was your butthole, we're like this, right? You don't see it unless So if you're walking around and
you open the doors,
subject change. I don't know why I brought this up. Subject change. Did I start this or did you?
Cats, assholes.
Oh, because we were trying to bring up okay. Now I'm back on track. Now I'm remembering how this started. Back to assholes. That's the new. I just read this study. I ran across a study where there are these scholars and they're studying the Reddit forum of am I the asshole? It's a thing where people go on and they give a scenario and they ask people, am I the asshole? And people debate. And these scholars, I guess, are fascinated by it because they want to see how people act in moral conflict. So a couple of examples would be, did you see the viral video of that one traveler who went, she got upgraded to first class, and then they wanted her to move because husband and wife wanted their 13-year-old to come sit with them in first class. And so they asked her if she would move so they could sit together. And she said no. So she posted this video of herself, kind of basically like sitting back in her chair, like, yeah, no way, I was going to move for your kid. You know what I mean? And so it became this big thing. And people, the first thought was people were thinking she's the asshole in that situation, right? So you don't agree. Why?
I mean, you can put your family together and coach.
Well, and they brought up a really interesting point about that, which never occurred to me, was that these two people, this husband and wife, got first class and then their kid in coach, knowing that if they got somebody to give it up, they didn't have to buy one for their kid. Right? So they booked the two seats and one in economy, thinking they'll strong arm someone into giving up their seat.
Manners are very important. Being polite, having aloha spirit is very important. But you draw the line where they close that curtain between first class and coach. Give me my drink, flight attendant. I'm ready to be pampered.
Yeah, y'all peasants can stay in the back.
I know. And don't use the bathroom up here. This is
you're
ours.
Not use our bathroom. This is for our rich buttholes, not yours.
Yes, the open and the closed ones.
Right. I agree. And you know what? There's something to be saying about alohaing yourself too. Like, why should she give it up if the parents didn't plan properly?
Right.
Why should she give up her first class experience? This is where the I am the asshole debates are coming in, because everyone's trying to figure out who's the bad guy, who's the good guy. And the conclusion I'm coming to this is each thing is so different, but also we sometimes think people are the asshole and then we find out they're not. And that's really common lately. Like the first instinct that we have on people usually ends up being wrong the more times goes by and we learn more information. So it's just that's a
Yeah,
social.
because yeah, as you're telling me the story, it was like, oh, the family wants to sit together, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of a tough spot for that lady, because yeah, you don't want the kid being by themselves, and then you open and you told more, and I was like, ah, that's true. I didn't think
Yeah.
about that.
Assholes that do take advantage of that stuff. Like we just assume because they're parents with a child that they're good. We don't know that they're good people. Clearly they stuck their
What
kid in coach.
what I would do as a parent, I would go in the coach and let my kids in the front with mom.
Yeah, right. And see, that means you're a nice person. See, that's what the father should, that some people did say that. They're like, how come one of the mother or the father didn't give up the seat or like alternate? Hey, I'll sit up here
Hmm.
for the first half of the flight. You sit up here for the second half of the flight. Yeah, that's what a good people would have done, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's really interesting because when I first saw this girl, I'm like, oh, because mainly because the way she kind of flaunted it. I think it was the way she presented the video where she's just sitting there like, ha, 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 ha. It was a little bit like, she might be
Oh,
the
I see.
too. And this might be one of those situations because there's sometimes two people can be wrong, two people can be assholes. If there's always not always a right and wrong in a situation.
Well, it's
But
funny you say that because when I fly, I have TSA pre-check,
mm,
and I walk past that regular line like, you guys need to do better with your lives.
so more of am I the asshole? Okay, am I the asshole for bombing an influencer's video, then posting the videos to make fun of them?
Oh,
And they said, I'm tired of these clout chasing influencers. So I go and I bomb all of their videos and then I post it. He runs in
oh,
front of their cameras. He goes and he like moons like in front of the camera, or he goes over and bombs the video while they're doing it. And then he goes and posts his video of him doing that.
he's the asshole for sure.
Well, what's even interesting more is like if you're calling them a clout chaser and an influencer, aren't you getting clout off of? I mean, you're literally if you hate them, you're now the influencer and the clout chaser. So do
Especially
you
if you're posting it.
hate yourself? Because now you're literally like you're going in a circle here because now you're the one putting content. You're making content of making fun of them.
Him jumping into other people's because he hates what they're doing, that's, mind your business. You know what I would love is every time I see stuff like that on social media, I'm like, oh, where are the Samoans? It's like, why wish you would do that to some Samoans? Let's
Oh
see what
God, you know
happens
how many
then.
times that I've seen situations and wished that there was a Samoan in the area because that none of that like they could have regulated, that situation so easily.
Samoan showed up and and then cast a shadow on you.
One a couple of the local versions of I am the asshole. Am I the asshole because someone parked too close to the line? So I parked really close to their car so they couldn't get in or out of their car.
I would say you, for parking close to the car, is the asshole. And the reason being that you don't know why that person parked close to the line.
Thank you. That's exactly right. It's kind of alarming to me that more people don't figure that out because I see this on social media constantly. People parking or posting photos like, look at this car did and look what they, how do you, like, I've been there before where you see people all shifted over and you end up
Mhm.
having to park where you got to park. And then when they leave, it makes you look like the asshole, but you're not the asshole
Yeah.
because they have
Yeah.
left nasty notes. They agree 100% the person who does that is an asshole. Let's be honest, Hawaii parking is nuts. It's super small. If anybody hasn't been here, we back into parking stalls because like it's crazy and we have very limited parking and it's very, very small. So we are very crammed in.
People in the States that get upset because we reverse park. They're like, you guys take too long to park. But when we get out, we're gone. We're
Yeah,
fast.
we're
We're
like
out of here.
super fast.
That's the reason I would reverse in from all the years of underage drinking. When you went to
Or
park,
they can't see your expired registrations. You back in.
this is true. This is true. This is back in like early 2000s. That was 5 years. And this is when they were colored. So you knew
Oh
that
yeah.
that registration was late. And then I was like, oh, I gotta be the most, the worst one on this island. And I went to Waianae and I saw people was later than mine by a couple years. And I was like, oh, I guess why not minded?
You could pay in our neighborhood that would know how to alter your registrations to look. He would do it with like markers and stuff. It's like,
Hawaii, we always had that person.
yeah.
I had a safety sticker friend. We all got that buddy. But the other reason that I get mad when Hawaii reverse parking goes wrong, when you go to Sam's or Costco, you cannot reverse park, because how are you going to load your trunk when you reverse park? You
Oh,
have to
yeah.
park
Yeah.
forward.
I didn't even realize this, and I had to think about why this has been happening a lot lately. And it's because there's so many more people not from here. Because back in the day, when you reverse park, everybody knows, like when you wait for that spot and you pass it, the person behind you knows you're passing it
Mm,
because you're going to back in. I mean, because we all
yeah.
know, we all do it. And people here, like that aren't from here, they see you pass it and they go in.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, you like we're gonna
Well,
fight.
that's why you gotta first signal, and then you gotta, when you don't go straight and then revert, you gotta go like that
Angle.
kind of, yeah, fishing kind of way where you're,
Yeah. But some people use that as an opportunity to snake the spot from you,
yeah.
you
Well,
know,
it
because they
depends
can.
if your asshole's open or closed. So.
One of the things we decided we were going to do is to feature a different creator, influencer from Hawaii
Yes.
every time. What we're looking for is people who we feel now, there are a lot of different kinds of creators, a lot of different kinds of influencers, and some are very
Mhm.
good at promoting themselves. And maybe even not as talented as some of the other, but they're hustlers. They're good hustlers. They know how to market. They're not ashamed to do certain things. Maybe they're,
Mhm.
more pushy or more arrogant or just a better entrepreneur, whatever. There's all kinds of things. But there's a lot of really talented people who don't have that or don't do that, who are just super humble.
I've experienced that with stand-up comedy. I know, like, a lot of times I'll be like, yeah, that's okay, let him go and let him have it. And I've had other comics, when I was recently in Portland, Oregon, Adam Posse, who, I'm not gonna say he's the king of Portland comedy, but he he's big wig up there. He's voted funniest comic in Portland for a few years. But he goes, hey, you want to do this? And I'm like, nah, that's all right. I don't want to step on their toes. And he's like, I know you're from Hawaii. You got to stop with that shit. I've built something here, and you rolling with me. I need you to step up and go for it. And I was like, damn, Moose, my bad. Okay, and he's right, because the opportunity doesn't, happen all the time. And then if you just like, I can wait for the next one, you're gonna miss out. So there's a lot of that happens here in Hawaii. So we want to help, highlight some of these people that we feel should get more, I guess, clout or shine.
Yeah, because I think the culture here, you don't brag about yourself. Like I always tell people, the local people, whatever talent they're showing you, there's 100 more you don't know about. You, when I first met you, you're absolutely right. You gave up opportunities that were for yourself. I helped you get into certain opportunities a couple of times and you brought other people in, which I thought was interesting. I think it's admiral quality, but also just got to take the opportunity to get yourself to where you need to go. And then you can help all your friends too, right? So
Right.
I think what happens is some people do this backwards. They use all their friends to get where they want and then they just leave, and that happens quite a bit, actually. Then we're going to mention someone different every time. Thought this would be a good time to do it. And that's Nolan Hong.
Yes. And
Nolan
I
Hong.
was on his podcast a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago, and really enjoyed being in his podcast. And also, he impressed me when he hosted the Hawaii Creators event that we had at Hawaiian Brian's. It was great. He had games for everybody to play. You want to be his friend. When you meet him, if you've never met him, you want to be his friend. Very genuinely nice person.
Nice guy. No disrespect to anybody else. I would say he's probably one of the best interviewers in Hawaii. Like he's underrated in that way. I feel like he'd be the perfect host for one of those shows where they show like all positive content. He tells stories. Check out Nolan Hong if you haven't. Nolan Hong has a podcast. Nolan Hong. We can end it on that. Please go check him out. We'll link to
Yeah.
him so you guys can.
Check out his podcast here in Hawaii.
Yes. And please follow and like and subscribe, because the reason we're mentioning these guys is we really want them to do well, because if you're looking to give the good guys the leg up that they need, and you want to start seeing the good guys winning, then this is how we're going to do it. We're going to start telling you who those people are.
The name of the podcast is Here in Hawaii Podcast.
Yes.
Thank you guys for listening. We appreciate you guys. Please like, follow, share, subscribe. In order for this podcast to grow, you got to share. So let your friends know about 808 Viral, the podcast with the comedian James Money and
Danny Girl. And if you have anybody you'd like us to talk to, shout out, any topics you want us to discuss, we're pretty much down for anything. We kind of want to fuck it up a little bit.
good night, Gam Gam.
I hate you so much.